Hello Bourne Primary School. I'm Veronica Bray. I'm a planetary scientist at the Lunar and Planetary Laboratory, and today I'm going to be answering some questions from Mr. Long's class. The first question is from Pavan and Mason, and I've chosen to start with a bit of an easy one to warm up, and it's what planet is your favourite and why? So of the classical planets, I really like Saturn, and purely because it's so pretty. Its rings are huge compared to all of the other rings we see in the solar system, and it's also really interesting to me that it's so light that it would float in water. If you had a big enough bath to put a planet in, Saturn would float. But my favourite planetary body is one of Jupiter's moons called Ganymede. I like it so much I named one of my big cats after it. So Ganymede is the biggest moon in the solar system, and it's bigger than the planet Mercury, and I have a picture on my desktop here. So here's the Earth for size comparison. There's the Earth's moon, and here is Jupiter's moon Ganymede. So the surface of Ganymede is mostly ice, and we have dark and bright material on the surface depending on how much rocky matter is mixed in with the ice. And I just love the contrast between the dark and the light. There's also a lot of impact features on it. So my speciality is impact cratering. So what happens when a comet or an asteroid hits the surface of a planetary body? It leaves a great big hole in the surface. So on Ganymede, we see lots of those impact features, but we also see something called palimpsests. And we think that this is when a comet has hit Ganymede when it was younger and hotter, and its ice crust was thinner. So this comet plunged through the ice crust, accessing the subsurface ocean beneath it, and instead of leaving a crater, it just left bright, icy deposit on the surface that's almost just flat. So here are some extra pictures. This is Saturn, and then here's that picture again of Earth, the Moon, and Ganymede. And then a close-up look at Ganymede so you can see the dark and the bright terrains. And then those circular patches, we'll get a close-up look here, those are the palimpsests, and the smaller circles are craters. And here is my gigantic Maine Coon cat, Ganymede. The second question for today is from Iga and Ava, and they ask which planet or moon would I like to live on and why? And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to be a bit boring and just say Earth on this. It would be striking to live on one of Saturn's moons just for the view. You'd look out over the horizon and you'd see Saturn and its huge rings off in the distance. But it's far too uninhabitable out there, too cold, and the radiation in space would be extremely damaging to us. And likewise, if we come back into the inner solar system closer to Earth, if we looked at living on the moon or Mars, we still wouldn't be living on the surface outside. We'd either have to live in tunnels in the subsurface, or we'd have to build domes and other structures that we could live inside. And that would provide us with the oxygen and the air as we know it on Earth for us to breathe, and also protect us from the radiation of space. Whereas on Earth, we have a thick atmosphere that is suitable for us. We have a magnetic field generated internally by the Earth, which protects us from a lot of the radiation in space. It's the only place for us to call home at the moment.